you kind of cracked the code, I suppose, and realizing, you know what, building an online business is the way to go.
This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by productivity authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
Well, that's so I probably came at it a very, very different way. And I'll just give chapter titles. And if you want to ask more specific questions about any of that, you just guide me. So the thing is, I was a bricks and mortar entrepreneur pretty much since the beginning. And honest to goodness, you'd said about 30 years. But the truth is, like, I bought my first bicycle, my first motorcycle, and my first car as a young man and teenager through entrepreneurial ventures. So it's sort of, where I grew up is like, if you wanted something, you better figure out a way to get it because we ain't buying it for you.
Right.
Now, which by the way is not entirely true. It was always, as long as I demonstrated and I did the initial work, if I got myself like 2/3 or 3/4 of the way there, my parents always made it whole. But if I didn't get myself that far, it was a non-starter. So anyway, I was a very bricks and mortar entrepreneur. I ran a personal development company called Personal Best Seminars. We had a physical location, like a 11,000 square foot brick building that we had our 3 classrooms in, yoga studio, coffee shop. So we had this very physical space. And over the span of about 25 or 30 years, we put 40,000 people physically in that space, taking courses, and usually at somewhere between a 30 and a 65 number of people in a particular classroom. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, I truly loved that business. We changed people's lives. It was fantastic and amazing. All was good. But, by the time that thing scaled, that we were doing those events in 3/4 different cities in Western Canada. We were in any given year doing somewhere between 180 to 270 events a year, often overlapping in 3 different cities at the same time.
Wow.
Exactly. So
that's crazy.
Imagine doing that for 25 plus years. And then it's like, son of a, what, this is a little bit hard. And while all that's going on, and I've always been a bit of a techno geek. So, we produced our own television show. We had one of the first non-linear avid editors. We had an infomercial. We did a bunch, we were sort of, I would call it leading edge in technology.
Right.
And then I began to get seduced by a couple of emails coming through saying, it's like, hey, you could stay at home, wear your fuzzy slippers and drink coffee and send some emails and still make millions of dollars. And after, over a quarter century of working like a freaking madman, it was like, that sounds good. So I sold my building. I let a bunch of my staff go, and I said, we're going to reinvent this thing in an online manner. And here's the key thing that I want people to hear is that, on the one side of it is like, yes, we went from $0 to $2.6 million in 14 months. But what's left out of that story is that I struggled for 3.5 years trying to take what worked so well for me face-to-face, heart-to-heart, belly-to-belly with human beings into the online world.
Did you, sorry to interrupt, but
all good.
I was going to say to you, did you not do any I guess, due diligence or market research before you made that transition? Or did you just decide and go cold turkey?
The latter.
Oh.
And in fact, here's my ignorance displayed far too clearly, which is I was quite sure that I could take what I had done so well in person and map it online. And in fact, much of the original advice that I got at the beginning of the process, I ignored because I didn't like how digital marketing worked. I thought that it was inauthentic. I thought it was a bunch of manipulative bullshit. I thought that it was pandering to the lowest common denominator. I could write a book on what I judged to be the stupidity of digital marketing and how there had to be a community of higher thinkers, more motivated by contribution and creation than fear and scarcity. 3.5 years later, I would retract all of those thoughts. but I had to burn through all of my money and rack up a bunch of debt before I was willing to actually say, wait a second, this is a different medium. This is a different audience. This is a different purpose. This is a different game. Yeah. And I can't take what I mastered so well in person and try and, superimpose that upon the digital world. It's just not how it goes. Yeah. And I have a penchant for expensive lessons, Adam, and that is one of my more expensive lessons in my life.